qualify for Point Rush today, but they go up against one of the most dangerous teams out there in Brazil, and I dare say in the competition. But they are mowing them down. Unbelievable stuff. Rigby 245. Final player in here. Round one picked up right quickly. And Vision System could not go in for the final blow, but they still outnumber the players. But they still outnumber the players of Lost. Only for the next few seconds. Rigby has got enough money to buy back his two other team members. But Vision System, timing is key here. And the guy that just got picked up mowed them. Timing is key here, and the guy that just got picked up mowed them down instantaneously. Lost with the instant recovery. M598 enough for you, boy. Rigby with the MP40 should be able to make quick work of Andres.
And suddenly, in a blink of
the MP40 should be able to make quick work of Andres.
And suddenly, in a blink of an eye, Vision System Andres is forced to run away. He does have enough coins to get a revive. Ring around Rosie.
Oh.
Can he do this fast enough before they clear him out in round corner? And there is just not enough time. Vision System, they fall in the hands of Lost, and off-screen, Virtus Pro gets wiped out.
Man had enough time to buy back the whole world, but a misclick for sure. Not even a single revival, and Vision System out. They were already at the very bottom of the leaderboard. I guess that is exactly where they will stay. Unfortunate for them, but what a start, and holy hell, what a recovery from Lost.
Recovery from Lost and Red Hawks, right? Both teams were at the back foot in their respective 4v4s, and both respective 4v4s, and both of them recovered. This is the start we expected from Lost, but this is the start we wanted for Red Hawks.
Oh yeah.
That difference, that contrast is what's going to make this a lot more interesting with how Red Hawks are rotating right now at Shipyard, but south of them it's going to be Team Falcons and Movie Star R7. That is going to be a challenge.
Ami Tomake Balobashi, Bangladesh. This is exactly what we need out of the squad. But here comes another deadly predator up in the air. Falcons, they want to fight. Question is, does Red Hawks have enough in their arsenal to shut them down? Dragons, on the other hand, up against Buriram earlier on. And it looks like it was deadly snipes all down. Dragons, on the other hand, up against Buriram earlier on, and it looks like it was dead.
Didn't have, but Movie Star R7, they hear the gunshots, they are here to fight the Falcons.
Well, two can play at that game, says Movie Star R7. They want to be the movie stars here as well.
Now, Games King actually got Peter as well. Two members of Falcons down, but they need the confirmation, and they get it. Kororo now hightails out of there, hides behind the building. It's him and Limit, and a lot of members of Movie Star R7 that they need to surgically cut through, but this is not going to be easy.
Limit has got the right guns here. ESK and the AWM in hand. He just needs the right opportunity, but he's also waiting for the rest of his team members to back away so that they can play that game of revival. He's buying the squad more time, and as he stays hidden, it looks like Movistar R7 is not effective in this situation. Opportunity to get those snipes as the players are up in the air. Can Limit hit it?
They do see Limit now. Finally spotted out 1v1 Limit with a flick and 2 shots in a row. Of course, Limit is the one that wins that one now. A free point for Team Falcons, number 5, but that is going to call to attention the rest of Movie Star R7 to kind of to come and
a masterclass in buying your squad more time. But of course, Kororo, as he gets away, I believe he flew straight into the crosshairs of Red Hawks, so we'll have to wait and see if or not Falcons can stay alive a little bit longer. It looks like the jump pad has been invested in as Kororo finds a good exit out of there. Flicker does not get that shot. And Falcons will live to tell the tale a little bit longer here. Time and time again, we've seen this out of Falcons, almost wiped out at the start of the game, and they just make that huge comeback with the booyah at the end.
Yeah. And just to add on to that, that was exactly what happened on their very first game on day number 1. And the third game. So history could repeat itself. If you want to take out any sort of opponents, you got to cut off the head of the snake. In this case, the head of the Falcons. As Dragons Esports make their rotation, runs into a Wild Kutters who just got revived and now will have to be revived again.
Yeah, man, Dragon off to a decent start here. First elimination, squad on that full revival. Thankfully, Seamox was left standing and he could bring the rest of the team members back in here. But RRQ, very stealthy, very quiet, picking up the most needed weapons. You see a double AWM setup in their hands here at Bermuda. It is going to be absolutely deadly, especially in the open grounds later on as this circle comes into a close, dragging all of the players towards the area of either Bhima Sakti or Clock Tower in a bit.
And RQ is a team that even they have said in an interview, always second, never first. In this case, for the side of AGAL, they've also have tasted that. But R7, they're fighting back, 2 down the side of AGAL. You not willing to let this go. He has a lot of memories, past memories on the international stage, and this is going to be one that he refuses to leave in regret. The rest of AGAL gets back up. Movie star R7's forced to run.
Oh, what a damn backup that was, due with the instantaneous shot as he whipped out that AC-80. And now Jony on the chase here. AC-80 in his hands. That Oscar, that Valiant Dash was just used. So he doesn't really have an option for a last-ditch effort for the defense, but thankfully, AGL does not want to stand by and play around with him. Hax has an opportunity to go for a revival, but the man's absolutely broke now.
Not just broke, he also does not have any medkits to work with. The blue is going to be the one that takes him out if this continues, so he's desperate to find any sort of resource, any sort of coins. It's going to be a race against time. As lost, they actually picked up a member from Team Falcons earlier on. The Falcons now down to 2. Enough points on the side of On Fire. Peter gets brought back once more. Falcons still trying to recover.
Yeah, on the back foot here for Falcons, but you know, it really matters not Lost and Falcons, both at the very top of the leaderboard. I think they can sleep the whole day and still qualify for Point Rush here, so this is just a warm-up game at the end of the day for these two squads. Phenomenal performance on their day 1. On Fire, take it away, Nando 9. Car from afar, accurate shots, not wasting those splits at all.
So Peter is actually in the middle of the circle. Falcons basically forced into just pure survival mode. It's no longer about fighting for points, it's about fighting to live long enough. Kuto, you surely see this, right? Karoro now and the fight Valiant Dash being used. Sudden Baros had to ruin that 1v1.
Hey, what was that? Valiant Dash did not find the connection with the glue walls, tried to use him like a Tatsuya, put himself in danger by turning his back onto his opponent. Easy knockdown. AGAL though, in shooting distance. Karoro's going to be in a lot of trouble. Has the M590. Using it to break down the glue wall, but Payne is going to be keeping AGAL a tad bit distracted here. And View takes that high ground position. He wants to flank around with those snipes. Question is, can the rest of them squeeze themselves in? Because this circle is starting to hurt.
Yeah. Double reparator being used early on. Baros trying to provide support fire alongside Dew. As Motovia slowly falls behind, but unfortunately for the rest of Payne, they might have to force a contact. As Peter gets dropped down into incredibly low no-duff as well. They do manage to heal back up, but still not finding any opening against AGAL. Baros now jumps into the time turner. Cypher actually loses his fight, and now they're going to play footsies, but no one does it better than no-duff. AGAL ends up losing 2, and now Peter trying to fight. Taste that, Jony. 3 down for AGAL, and Payne survives.
And AGAL, one final survivor here, potentially straight into the hands of Dragons. R7 Della taken out of the equation. All thanks to Peter. And Movistar R7 out of the race in the 10th spot. Spain makes their way up towards that high ground. Dragons remaining silent, not wanting to play a little bit of a misstep here. Either way, when they play that rotation, they have to come across either Payne or put it up, and that's going to be most definitely painful for the Dragons.
I just got to say that Red Hawks are single-handedly contributing to the revival stats in the game. They have so much revives, but it's good for them, right? Still in the game, but the window is definitely closing as we now turn our attention to Dragons Esports finally making their way towards where the war zone is. Pain Gaming and Laws now fighting. RRQ also part of this conversation. Just getting a knock onto Rigby, but rescue will be here. Rigby should be fine.
Playing with the elevation, smartly done here by Lost. And that recovery is going to be instantaneous as well. They do tank a little bit of damage from the blue. That's not going to be too much that they cannot shrug off. Problem is going to be still Peter here, looking for the gatekeep. And I do agree with you, man. Red Hawks, what a performance on the revival so far. We have asked for them to get into that final circle. That's exactly what they're trying for. Now get high, going rampage with the grenade launcher. M79 in hand, taking away one life. Adam down as well. Nejad has got the big guns in hand. Grenade launcher in the hands of Red Hawks is going to give them a huge advantage here.
The Red Hawks did lose Flicker thanks to RRQ, who decided to join in as party number 4. The BRU are the biggest winners out of this all. Most players can't even get to them where they are. Get high somehow, getting Blade as Noki wants to steal it but could not do so. Blade falls, Red Hawks down to just 2, and Oni will have to find a way out of this because Buriram have guarded all the main entrance.
And Dragons finding Nejad as well. Unfortunate for Red Hawks, but Pain Gaming makes the exit first. In the 8th spot, Red Hawks with their final survivor left in here looking for the next zone and has found it already. Question is still going to be, does Kadush has enough? Because you get revived with those 2 blue walls and the P90. I believe that's all he has. Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses of Peter and the backstab. Loss is still in it as Falcons will falter in 7.
Good shot from Mao to stop Haone. And now Lost have to make a decision. Do you abandon him or do you bring him out? There's no saving pride. Haone in this game. Mao takes him out. Red Hawks eliminated in 6th place. RRQ finally showing their presence. Rigby has all his glue being melted. RRQ just sprays them down. Tastes lead in this. And Nandona cannot survive. Unfortunately for Lost, this is where it ends.
Yep, they lost that one up against the Indonesians who are desperate for a booyah for themselves. But the surprising ones are the team from EMEA. Dragons Esports, 7 eliminations strong, looking for that final circle in the top 3. This is what we need. This is the kind of improvement we wanted out of Red Hawks, but we'll have to wait for the rest of the game from the day. For the time being, it's the silence play, and Dragons will find the circle, but they also find Buriram running out there.
And Buriram will take initiative. Actually, a decent trade at the very start, but Dragons quickly overwhelmed as Dus decides that he also wants a piece of the pie. Maybe RRQ's intervention will be enough for the Indonesians to start the day out with the Booyah. Kiba ends up going down, get high, still around, but it's him and Moshi. Can they pull this off? A 2v3, Moshi in the red and get high, desperately trying to hang on. They just cannot pull it off. Abai brings RRQ to a Booyah in game 1.
RRQ with their very first Booyah here at EWC 25. And you cannot ask for anything better. They start the day off from the 12th spot. And obviously they're going to be getting those points. One of the best Indonesian squads. Some may argue the best, of course. They could not get to the championship this time on FFWSC because Onyx snuck that one away. But they're most definitely going to hit the big numbers here.
Some people forget that RRQ placed 2nd in the recent championship. And that's why they always say, why recent championship? And that's why they always say, why are they always 2nd? Why never 1st, right? You look back at the track record of RRQ, they are always in the top spot, but when it matters the most, RRQ falls short. This is a story of redemption. A team that built a legacy, that set the benchmark for the Indonesian region, now have bred new blood that overtook them locally, but they also kind of missed the feeling that when they were still at the top.
Yeah, the 2nd spot curse also infecting their brothers from Indonesia. We saw EVOS Esports last year at EWC 24. They did so well, but of course Falcons beat them to the championship. They walked away with the 2nd spot. That was very impressive, and they have not yesterday at the very top of the leaderboard, and now they are the squad to beat. But of course we're going to be taking a quick short break here. When we come back, it's going to be Dragon time, baby.
Double kill.
Lihat nih. Gua pasang glue wall, gua lempar bom, terus musuhnya rata. Gimana tuh?
Lu udah nunjukin ini ke kita 7 kali.
Tapi setiap gua tunjukin ini keren kan? Perang dua. Gak bisa. Gua sekarin. Knock. 3 lagi. Ngurung. Ini 2 orang ngurung nih. Tuh, sekarang Gua setting. Mana ya, Dut? Naikin bay. Di gua nih. Parat, oi. Di gua. Masih di gua. Tahan. Mungkin gua. Parat. Nice. Santai guys. Dut.
Though RRQ may have started a little bit slow here at EWC 25, they kick things off with day 3 with their very first booyah on Bermuda. And Indonesian fans, I can imagine they are cheering for them at home, in the chat, anywhere that they are, because RRQ, maybe today's the day that they finally come back, because to be honest, they were very, very quiet for their first play day. Gideon, I'm going to have to start with you here. What was the major factor that actually brought RRQ back into EWC?
I think for one, I'm pretty sure that the audience in the arena itself, if you've ever heard of it, RRQ, no matter where they are, it's always home soil, it's always home ground. The kingdom always provides for them, especially with the fans. But in terms of the in-game, we've seen two sides of an interesting story, right? The proactivity within the game. When we're looking at the match rankings, right? Notice how majority of these teams aren't reaching into the double digits because fights are not only concluding extremely quick, but only very few squads, like Dragons, are able to actually recover from the initial first impacts, and then all teams, majority of them playing on the outside, unless you're BRU or RRQ, who took their time to show presence later in the game.
And now looking at the rankings, I'm surprised as well that Lost is in there, because earlier, when they went against Vision System, they were almost out. Only 2 remains, and then as quickly as that, just wiped out Vision System, and they are back in play, taking that number 4 spot.
I mean, there wasn't even a good idea from Vision, because, you know, they are kind of struggling in the tournament. So they can, I mean, try to fight against like one of the favorites to win the title, you know. So that was not like a good idea at all. So I think it's better for them if they avoid this type of fights, you know.
Yeah, high risk, but, you know, high reward, right? Sometimes you kind of have to take those risks if you want to keep your spot here at EWC 25. But it's pretty interesting that already right off the bat, we're seeing a very, very quick pace, right? The first 2 days, I kind of feel like the teams, yeah, they were kind of going fast as well, but it wasn't to the degree where everyone was kind of waiting for that third circle to make their move. It was from the get-go, you see people, you smell that blood, they're in your sights.
It's extremely evident when we do see Falcons taking the initiative to go, again, proactively looking outside of the ring to fight a squad. They end up winning the fight, especially against Dragons. And then, Red Hawks, and all of a sudden R7 decides to get involved in these fights, right? And this was happening all across the map, you know, from north side to the southern side. And once we get to that third ring, I think that's when people started to realize, oh boy, this is going to be a pretty deadly match. A majority of people have lost a couple of fingers walking into the ring.
Speaking of deadly, I mean, you did mention it's always back-to-back engagement all throughout the map, but towards the 12-minute mark, we still have 10 teams remaining, and we seldom see that in competition here. Probably in the regional, yes, it is possible, but it starts slow. But this didn't start slow. It's just from the drop, they're always engaging, and quite surprising why there's still a lot of teams left.
Well, and I want to add about the fight of Falcons against R7. That it's really interesting to see like R7 performing that way, because they are not afraid to be like face to face with other Asian teams. So that's kind of interesting, because, you know, Games King was like shooting at Falcons A, and he was like doing such a great job, you know.
Yeah. I do agree. I mean, GameSkin is one of the player that's really doing so much. Thus, all of the top damage that has been dealt right here being shown. And I would love to see a lot more from them, but look at the balance in terms of Buriram United damage and elimination. It means that what they're reaping, they're sowing.
I disagree. They're doing too much damage. They're not getting enough eliminations. They're pumping out twice the amount of damage we're seeing the other teams are doing. And teams like Dragons, for example, which I'm extremely impressed by, I thought it was almost done for them. They managed to recover, they managed to re-equip, and they also managed to get into what, in this case, the final circle, which is only the 6th ring.
Okay, I want to play with the idea because we saw Buriram having one of the highest eliminations and damage. What if they're struggling to get those eliminations? Like, they're the ones starting the fights, but everyone else is coming in, they're vulturing, they're stealing away those kills. Like, they can't play the game that they want to play. Like, is this maybe a warning sign that Buriram, though they might be feeling pretty confident coming into their second play day, maybe things are just not panning out for them yet?
I refuse to believe it. I think they're just that good.
Yeah, I mean, we know for a fact Buriram United doesn't start their fight towards the 15-minute mark or close to that. And at that point, they had no choice. So they put in so much of damage, so put in a few elimination, even if they don't finish them up.
Right. It looks like we are ready to fly into Purgatory Survivors. So let's fly into match number 2 with Husky and AJ.
Purgatory time, baby! And it was a phenomenal booyah from Indonesia, courtesy of RRQ. But of course, seeing EMEA up at the top, seeing the Dragons breathe fire, that's exactly what we want to see out of the squads who are struggling to get into the top 12. But even if they do break into the top 12 right after this, the story would not be over just yet, because down at the bottom 6, all the teams at this point in time are from Group A and C who are in play today. So you have to keep this performance up game after game, Husky.
And I think this really puts into perspective how teams like Virtus Pro, for example, right, has had a very weird knockout stage experience so far.
Yeah.
They have the highest highs, but they also have the lowest lows. I guess you could compare them to Fluxo. The only difference being that at least Fluxo has a more even average throughout until the end of the last 3 rounds of yesterday. Another generous flight path, you know, we've been a lot more kinder to these two groups in Purgatory, right down the middle once more towards the northeastern side. And Virtus Pro, at least this time, gets to head to Moat House.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, they are not going to be disturbed for the time being. Diamond, one of their key players, has to pop off. The M590, perhaps not having the Tatsuya on their side with the brand new addition, the updates on OB49 has most definitely affected the pacing of Virtus Pro, but everybody had to go through the exact same changes. They just need to adapt a tad bit better. We see the very first circle coming on through here, and it looks like we're gonna get the final circle somewhere towards Key Launch and Brasilia later on, but for the time being,
Okay.
Vision System starting off hot up against Onyx, the champions of Southeast Asia.
The moment you say that, Onyx turns it around and gets a couple of bodies for themselves. In fact, almost wiping out the entire bloodline of PSG this game. Thankfully, Vision System, they do have a survivor. Shix already ran away, but that was as close as it could have gotten. Onyx ended up losing 2 bodies as well, but Zyro instantly gets a revive onto Prime. And also, you look at the radar, Falcons. Day 1, when they did a split, it was a 3-1, 3-5 brigade, 1 a lumber mill. Now today, they dropped all 4 and 5 brigade before splitting up to lumber mill. They understood that RRQ, they also share that island.
Absolutely, just kind of playing it safe, just in case RRQ decides to go a little bit crazy, perhaps drop slightly closer towards 5 brigade. But thankfully, none of that happened. And both the squads still alive and kicking, free to loot up as much as they want. Got a little bit of a airdrop here for Kiba to pick up those medkits and blue walls from as well. But of course, the great big question is going to be, do we see Buriram bucked into R7? Movistar R7 dangerously close to Marble Works.
It's a good time to also talk about Kiba's history. Previously with Onyx, it was a big part of Onyx. In fact, last year he attended EWC for Free Fire 24 with that squad, and they had a very underwhelming performance, and right now they're on the other side of the aisle. And in fact, even yesterday, Onyx tried to mess up RRQ's momentum for Booyah, and they ended up, it was RRQ, it was a Movistar R7 that pulled through. We get a ping with the Arvon that could be courtesy of BRU as they are heading towards Crossroad, but they will run into Movistar R7.
Yep, now Buriram trying their best to get away here. Movistar R7 definitely in shooting range, and Della is the first player to be found. This is not good for business. Jonah also finding the tags onto Adam, gets the elimination as well. Fighting two squads at the same time. Not the best idea here, but Buriram has no choice. Hax runs on in, finds the sniper of Buriram. The rest of them leave him high and dry. They're looking for a safer spot to play. Games King, final survivor, double glue wall, looking for the pickup.
Hack needed to confirm Moshi before anything else, but
good play.
Backup of BRU was just too fast. So R7 ends up getting nothing, and they might lose Joker. But thankfully, he's able to launch himself away in time. BRU saving Moshi, and they keep the run going. But it bought enough time for Onyx to move away, but that also might just funnel them straight into Virtus Pro.
Great recovery for both Movistar R7 as well as Buriram. Games King going for the pickup instead of finishing off Moshi. And Buriram looking at that opportunity, went back in there for the instant pickup just so that they don't have to be on the reset. Moshi gets to keep all of his loot and coins. So neither one of their progress disrupted all that too much. Of course, Movistar losing two players to the side of Buriram wasn't all that too fun. And like you said, Onyx playing that recovery. But now Virtus Pro finding pain. Will they get taken down early once again? Riptide Rhythm going far and wide, unfortunately, for Exposing.
And he's holding his ground very well. He's taking down the glue walls of pain to discourage them. But his glue wall just now prevented Peter from getting a potential shot in. This could be a big flank. Boonjim and Nameless, they have the right idea. Are they going to run into pain? No, Goose exposed. He was not ready for that. The glue wall getting popped down. He has to isolate in his hands, but it's instantly broken down. Peter ends up taking Diamond somehow. And now VP forced into a bit of a defense mode. Glue wall melters all drop down. VP pushes them forward.
Yeah, fantastic grenade pop here. And straight through the glue wall. Finds Gus for the M590. Looking for Peter as well. Glue wall broken down once again. Peter, no cover for him whatsoever. Boonjim left all alone. M590 for the win, but Virtus Pro unable to undo the pain Esports delivered.
And that one is going to hurt. 2 rounds in a row, Virtus Pro got virtually nothing.
Oh, no.
They're going to end this round with 55 points. And that is still quite far away from a qualification into point rush. They will have to talk about this. They saw Flora out for Boonjim and nothing changed. Onyx now gets a rematch against BRU right here at the Arsenal. But BRU, they do have someone positioned inside the compound. It's going to be Jonah, and Adam sees this. But what is Onyx going to do?
Moshi on the flank, looking for Crime. AC-80 in the hands of Crime. He just needs that double shot. Perfectly aimed at Moshi's head to instantly cripple the flanking capability of Buriram. And both teams playing this absolutely safe. Buriram finally going in for the call on that rush, but the glue wall stops their own defense for the side of Onyx, and they have to retreat. Grenade popped out, M79 in play. The grenade finds the tag, and Wasana does not manage to recover. Buriram with only Moshi left in the mix here. Pickup just not possible. And man has to run for his life.
Very, very decisive call from Onyx, and that is going to pay off big time, wiping the floor with BRU. And this is where I gotta stake my allegiance. I'm gonna state my allegiance.
Yeah.
I agree with what one of the panelists said just now. I agree with Gideon. I think, you know, BRU, we all collectively have unanimously said that this is the only team that every single time they don't show up in a round, we said that they're saving stress. But I disagree. I think at this point it's fair to say that BRU, teams are catching up to them, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think Buriram, at this point of time, it's not that, yes, the other teams are catching up, but also the meta has been messing with Buriram for a long, long time. Wasana used to be known as the deadliest hard hitter out there. First we took his Drogon away, then we took his Tatsuya away. How much more will we torture this boy Wasana?
I don't know, Brazil has won 2 years in a row. It's about time we get something back, right? They were the reason, I hope they were the reason Skylar got back into the meta, and now Holmers is buffed. You know, Intel gatherers have all been buffed.
Yeah.
You see Falcons up against RQ. Abe actually took a shot in the face. As we take a look at a bit of a highlight some good engages earlier on, but we're gonna keep our attention on what matters more. Falcons actually taking down members of RRQ.
Yep, finding the first one, but RRQ has got decent enough distance between themselves as well as Falcon to hightail it out of here. Got to fight up against the blue though. Tanking damage from the second circle isn't going to hurt that too much, so RRQ not really playing big risk gameplay here. Just needs to go for that long rotation round. Unfortunately, R7 might just bump into them, so we'll have to catch up with that action in a little bit. Aone on the bike, making a lot of noise, but thankfully nobody around them to find the Punisher with the snipes.
Funny enough, there is a UAV hovering on top of them, and we saw a loot drop as well, an airdrop. They are going to be right smack in the middle of two teams, Dragon Esports, Vision Systems. Well, make that 3 teams because AG, AL are around the corner. That is a big shot from the AWM. Zyro making his presence known. Pain Gaming in the far horizon, but I think Onyx are also in a very safe spot. If they go down southwards to get to the circle, they are going to eventually run into Pain Gaming, with the exception that I think Pain Gaming, they do have a bit of elevation to work with.
Consistency out of Brazil has been phenomenal thus far. Pain Gaming just one of those top performers, one booyah in the bag, and they don't look like they're about to slow down. 87 points in total in their pockets. And they have got literally 5 more games to pick up points, and they don't look like one of those stragglers, right? Game after game, you see them hitting those high numbers on eliminations, whether or not they find that final circle.
It's been the Philmatic this game for RRQ. 4 revives and counting. So RRQ, they, even though have the full squad still in the game, they have been getting picked off left, right, and center. So Pain Gaming makes that rotation. Onyx most likely will end up dodging them and having elevation once they get to where Pain Gaming are. There is a choice that Pain Gaming could make, right? Take the zip line down to the next location, close to a vending machine, but far away enough from the rest of the teams.
This next circle is going to be crucial. Teams all spread out on the map. It's been moving west side thus far, and usually the game does throw us off a tad bit, but a high potential of moving just towards the outskirts of Brasilia here. Pain Gaming has to deal with Onyx, whether they like it or not. And just on the outskirts of Brasilia, the circle finds AGAL as well as Dragon. Vision System in there as well, but I don't know what kind of miracle they can pull off here. They just don't have enough points in the back.
They could play spoilers, right? Like what Alpha 34 did yesterday. The early encounter between RRQ and Lost, where we saw on the feed itself, Lost getting 2 pickoffs in a row. Haone dealing some critical damage to RRQ at this stage of the game. Again, they got the full revive, but at this point we are more than 10 minutes in. Falcons now arrive, and Kiba, he's not even ready for this. He realized that 3 people shot him back behind him. Quick backstab and a 3-point.
Yeah, poor boy just got revived, had the P90 in hand, just 2 glue walls, refused to use it, could have used it, but now Red Hawks. Bangladesh, can you go up against one of the most lethal Brazilian squads out there? Glue wall melters all laid out, but Flicker, the flank just not working. Riptide Rhythm breaks down absolutely nothing as lost. Pulls the long flank around the right-hand side, down towards the lower ground. Red Hawks pulling a very quick trick here as they fake a lower ground rotation, but they stay up towards the top. Lost not falling for that.
The jig is up though. Haone sees Flicker, he knows what Flicker wants to do. So starts it off with Glue Wall Melter, take out that cover to force Flicker deeper into the battle. They want Red Hawks to fight honest, not dirty from long range, and that's where Lost thrives the most. Rigby, Raja mentioned multiple times, top 3 rusher of Brazil. If they can funnel Red Hawks into the gun barrels of Rigby, it's going to be beneficial for Lost. Nando 9 got a top ground covered, Lost in an advantageous spot.
Yeah, Kutush. Fingers crossed he's got that Supermed in his hands. Nando 9 taken out of the equation. Great play by Blade. But now here comes the reversal as well as Anarav finds Kutush. Blade down on the ground as well. Revenge is sweet and pretty instant. And Red Hawks will falter in the hands of Lost.
Lost came in prepared. That was exactly what they wanted to achieve. In the meantime, even off screens, we see Duels just got knocked by Vision System. Lost did have to pay a bit of price for that. one member being eliminated out the equation, but small price to pay. Peter getting literally ran down and charged right through. On fire now, tries to redeem it. Joker actually getting tagged from behind. Limit finding
kill.
Della as movie star R7 takes the wrap for Falcon.
Yeah, without Della, question is how can they play this game of survival? GamesKing backing away, the fourth player down, and Hax has no choice, and a double snipe by Limit will put them in the bag. On fire with the support gameplay as well. AGAL making their approach here. And Falcons need to play this careful. Do they play the circle or do they go hunting for the players of AGAL? Either way, RRQ lies awaiting them inside the next circle.
And Falcons with that wipeout freeze up their rotational path. And now they're gonna kind of fast track that. Instantly punish. Andrex is the one that spoils the party. And Abai, just stay still, my little boy. Do not make a move. Wow. Because Vision System are making their presence known. Falcons distracted. Andrex once more with a second collection. Deal steals that away. But Kororo, too late to realize that they made a grave mistake. Abai just needs to wait.
I said Vision System needs a miracle. You said Vision System needs to play. Spoilers, they are doing both. 7 eliminations strong. Vision System needs to avoid that circle though, flying straight in towards Dragons Esports. We need to catch up with Dragons in a little bit because they are getting a tad bit too comfortable here. Lost on the other hand, they don't have the numbers, and RRQ surprisingly out in 8th.
Oh, that was pretty funny. Kororo turned did a 360 and saw him and just blew him up. Another fight, Vision System now against Lost. Rigby actually getting gunned down. This is not panning out the way that Lost wants. The 10 elimination. The blue wall goes down. Vision System showing up late, but not too late. Lost is out.
Oh, I don't know if it is not too late, but it looks like they are wrecking some of the opportunities for the big squads here. Dragons now looking for Vision System. And they had the vision to strike early, but the solid blue walls erected to trap them in the container. They back away. Vision System though, tossing in those grenades is going to be crucial at this point. Dragons will pull up their own blue wall to avoid the damage.
This is going to be a heck of a confrontation. I don't think we've seen these two teams duke it out 4v4 until this point. Now obviously Vision System have more eliminations, and for Dragons, they need to start catching up. A bit of chip damage being dealt down. Jota actually moving forward, trying to progress. But for Dragon Esports, those blue walls are going to melt in an instant. The bombardment commences. Shix once more gets a good snipe, and Dragon Esports trapped in their own building as Vision System cleans up house. There's an extra 4 points on the docket, 13 for VSC.
What a miracle, Vision System! And now full recovery for them. Shix has got the Superman on him. Backs away, but AGAL knows exactly what's up. Tossing in all of those blue wall melters, making sure those defenses do not stand erected for long. And Dew with the snipe from afar, he's not the guy who gets the connection. It is Jony. Sidebar, the combo, absolutely deadly. And they want more. Flirting with the blue, and Shix makes the wrong decision. But either way, there's no running. AGAL puts an end to it and pulls a booyah in the bag.
And AGAL needed a win. Sooner or later, this was also a team that have gone through trials and tribulation on the international stage. A few years ago, Dew was at the height of his career, finishing, I believe, top 4 in FFWS 2022 in Bangkok, Thailand. And ever since then, he has not been able to return to that prime form, whether it's an individual struggle or a team synergy problem. AGAL right now is his best chance, and with this booyah, they are going to remind everyone that they have been contenders all along.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, what a great play from the teams that desperately needed the points, right? 3 out of 4 teams in that final circle are currently sitting in the bottom 6, and Vision System with a stand-up performance. Unbelievable stuff. We have never seen them in that mode. I guess desperation sometimes brings the best out of you.
Not only that, when we finished match number 1, I believe the coach of Vision System, they gathered everyone around and gave them a pep talk. Maybe that was the boost that Vision System needed to get close to the top 3. A booyah would have been great, but this second place finish is good enough for now.
Absolutely. We've got an interview on the stage for you guys as well. Aski and I will be right back with you.
Wow, what amazing matches we have watched so far, and for sure, today is a day for us to never forget. The last day of the knockout stage. And of course, we have to take a word with the first Booyah, the first team that got a Booyah here today, which was RHK from Indonesia. And I have here with me Abai. This guy here doesn't need an introduction because you all know him. Okay, so the first match was incredible for you guys. You got a Booyah and you all wiped two big teams, Los and Buriram, who are also leading the standings, in the top of the standings. And I would like to know, how are you guys feeling right now?
Oke, tentunya di sini kalian berhasil mendapatkan Booyah di map pertama dan juga kalian berhasil nge-wipe dua tim yang teratas di saat ini gitu. Dari Loops dan juga Buriram. Bagaimana perasaan kalian saat ini?
Senang.
I'm just happy.
You gotta say more, Abai, please.
Nggak senang.
Yeah, I think I'm just happy. I don't know how to express it better.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, so I have already said today is the final day for knockout stage. What was the main strategy for the teams? What was your mindset going before start the day? What do you guys have? What talk do you guys have back home to start the day?
Oke, tentunya di sini juga merupakan hari terakhir dari knockout stage. Kita pengen tahu gimana apa sih rencana atau strategi kalian di hari ini dan juga apa sih yang kalian bicarakan tentunya sebelum bermain di hari ini.
Dari poin kemarin kita ya saling menguatkan aja. Terus hari ini mungkin kita cari poin kill sebaik-baiknya sih.
I think what we learned from yesterday is that we just need to communicate better and we just need to talk about what we want to do better. And for today, we just want to get as much kill as possible.
That's probably really good. For us to finish the interview, I would like just have one more question. Is there any specific team that you would not like to advance for the next stage for the grand finals?
Apakah ada tim yang kalian gak pengen untuk bisa lanjut ke babak selanjutnya? Fluxo.
Okay, well said. We have heard enough from Abai. Thanks so much for the interview. We wish you all the best of luck for the next matches. And we will see if you guys can make to the finals. And that's all. Right now, we are going to go for a quick break, but don't wait up because we are going to have way more action right here in Esports World Cup with Free Fire.
Triple kill. Dominate. Unstoppable.
Hello everyone, it's Yunsu. Welcome to the Boulevard, and I'm right here at a haunted house. We have a storyline here, the Zila story, which is for this house, and I'm going to explore the opening for you guys here. Well, the atmosphere is very scary. You see pictures here. What is those sounds? Okay, pictures, dark pictures, very scary. I don't know what is await me there, but I feel so scared, anxious. Why those pictures look so scary? Oh, that is a dead body. Why so many dead bodies here? Cứu tôi là nạn nhân. Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Hi? Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna come back or not, but I'm going to explore the rest for you guys. Then, okay, goodbye.
Some rush in instinctively. Others run the chaos.
What a phenomenal reposition, but with the launch pad straight out the circle, they get a tag on that circle first, and now Buriram fires on to Abe.
This is Wasana.
สำหรับตัวผมนะบทพิสูจน์บทท้าทายก็น่าจะเป็นเรื่องของการเริ่มเข้ามาแข่งใหม่มากกว่าครับ
Buriram United! They just don't win, they dominate. The kings of Booyah are back.
เริ่มมาแข่งแรกๆก็มันแบบเราจะเจอทีมที่เก่งกว่าเยอะช่วงนั้นก็อาจจะแบบว่ามีคนที่เก่งกว่าเราเยอะมากเลยอะไรประมาณนี้แต่ก็พัฒนาตัวเองมาถึงจนจุดนี้ได้ครับ
In Buriram, he's part tactician, part stormbringer, trusted by Gehai, Moshi, Yoena.
อยากแบบเป็นผู้เล่นที่แบบแข่งไปนานๆเลยครับสอนแบบว่าตั้งแต่ตอนเข้ามาแรกๆนะครับเพราะทุกคนมันเป็นคนที่แบบประสบความสำเร็จมาแล้วมีประสบการณ์มีอะไรแบบผมเข้ามาทีมนี้ครั้งแรกก็ไม่ได้มีอะไรเป็นแชมป์หรืออะไรเลยครับแต่พอเข้ามาทีมนี้ก็พี่เขาได้สอนหลายอย่างให้ก็แบบทำให้ผมเป็นผมทุกวันนี้ครับ
You gotta really give it to this team. Buriram United just going super aggressive right now. Very, very explosive.
A rusher with a plan, a warrior who thinks. This is Wasana, Buriram's quiet strategist.
Now it's gonna be Buriram trying to finish off everything, and one more shot. Booyah!
ก็พวกผมก็จะทำให้เต็มที่ที่สุดครับพวกผมหวังแชมป์มันอยู่แล้วครับแต่ก็จะทำให้เต็มที่ที่สุดแล้วก็เอาแชมป์มาฝากทุกคนให้ได้ครับ
The blue will be closing in soon. There's no shift anymore. Here comes Wasana timing that up. Another booyah!
คือมันวัดกันในหน้าเกมอย่างเดียวเลยว่าแบบว่าใครจะแบบเหนือกว่าก็คือแบบจะได้มาแข่งถึงทุกวันนี้ครับ
มาเขียวให้กูไม่มีระเบิดนะวิ่งไปชิดดิโหรชิดดิกูหน่อยชิดดิกูหน่อยเขียวอยู่ไอ้ปลาระเบิดอยู่มากูไปชิด100เฮ้ยโดนระเบิด100ชิดมาเล่นกับกูมาเฮ้ยหน้าผมพี่ฟ้า100ชิด100ดาวชิดเลยดาวเอ้ยกูหน่อยกูหน่อยว่ากูหน่อยพี่ฟ้าตามกูมาพี่ฟ้าพี่ฟ้าอยู่ปีนะดาวตัวเดียวแชมป์ไม่เหี้ย70ตายมาเลยเหี้ยแต่ว่าพี่ฟ้าทีเดียวเฮียกิลดาเมจ1,400ตัวกิลไอ้สัส
AGAL lock in our second booyah of the day, and things are really starting to heat up because the bottom of the bracket are hungry. We have gotten booyahs from teams that are currently sitting outside of that threshold of top 12, and they know they need those points. So all of a sudden, we're getting a very interesting match day where it's not a battle between the Titans at the top, it's a battle of all of the Davids at the bottom.
And this is one thing that we keep saying, and I think I mentioned it from the start of our competition, that treat your every day as if it is the last day, as if you are being eliminated. And I guess that's what's happening right now. Like high risk, high thing that those at the bottom 6 are doing right now, and if in case they miss, then I guess they could accept already the fact that they might be eliminated.
Well, we also can still keep looking at Falcons, like doing great eliminations. But something that I want to add, it's that Burira, it's not really doing that good. I think they are not kind of prepared about like early fights, you know. They know how to do rotations and this type of things, but I feel that they weren't prepared at all to meet Onyx at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we really haven't seen, aside from that first booyah that they got yesterday, they haven't really been a major player in the competition. But again, I mean, we spoke about this, right? It almost feels like Buriram, they're just slowly trying to peel off that target from their back. They're saying, okay, this target belongs to someone else. We are not a threat to anybody. We are harmless. Please leave us alone when we get to the final stage. But Buriram fans, I don't think I'd be concerned either because, I mean, Neptune, I mean, you have the numbers in front of you. Buriram are kind of safe, right? I don't think they are at any risk of falling out of top 12.
Yeah, they are safe and they have potential to be able to bring that number. So I think it's just a play not to be in a spotlight of like the players and the teams that will be going into Point Rush and Grand Finals. But I also want to put a spotlight in some of the teams like AGAL as well as Vision System. They were at the bottom of our leaderboard and they were the top as well as the second place in that game. But we also see Dragon Esports survivability at its finest. This is one thing that we want to see from those of the underdogs, and I guess they're working in for the placements before they go for elimination because it was slow in terms of elimination, but they managed to survive a little bit longer.
I'm so glad you brought up Dragons because they have actually been quite consistent today. Although we've only played 2 games, they were the third last team to be eliminated in our first 2 games. So Dragons, I mean, it seems if they keep this up, they have a very good chance of making it to the next stage. But I do want to sort of make a bit of a statement, right? The fact that all the points now are going to the team towards the bottom of the bracket, this actually destabilizes the bottom section of the top 12 because the points are not going to the top because the teams that are in top 12, let's say 12 until 9, you want the points to go to the very top because that means the points are not going towards the bottom teams, but that is not happening. It's the opposite. All the bottom teams are getting it. So now all of a sudden, teams at the bottom are getting scared. So what do you end up doing here as a team that is potentially going to get knocked out of that top 12? Do you now suddenly have to be the ones to make the proactive plays because you can't afford to play passive anymore?
Well, it depends on your play style, but most of the teams, they just have to lay low, go for survivability first. They go for the placement first, and then along the way, if they can get elimination, then that's where they stack up the numbers. Because if you risk so much in terms of fighting against a team, getting a lot of elimination, we've seen that a lot happening, and it is just like disappointing if in case you lose a fight.
It would be. Now here are the overall rankings, ladies and gentlemen, the updated overall rankings. So we're still quite early in the day. Now, of course, we are still seeing a lot of teams from Group B very high up on that leaderboard. But as we continue to play and more points are distributed between Groups A and C, we will start to see a more finalized list of our top 12. Now, Neptune, I know you're the man of numbers. I love to ask you this kind of stuff, okay? Who is looking safe here? We said yesterday that there was a safe threshold, which was, I think, 130 points, wasn't it?
Yep.
So just looking at the leaderboard now, who do you feel is looking pretty safe? Like, where do you think is the safe cross line?
So I guess at this point, for the moment, it is Pain Gaming spot because currently, like, they are 100 points already, and I don't think they will be short of 30 by the remaining 4 matches. So there's still a lot more that they can do. So hopefully they will be able to chase that number.
All right, we are getting ready for our next matchup, folks. But before that, though, we do have our SMB head-to-head with Gideon. Let's head on over to the main stage. What's up, Gideon?
Hello everyone and welcome to the SNB head-to-head here at the Free Fire EWC World Cup Arena. And this is exciting because with us right now, we have the Falcons fans loud and proud over on that side. We have the teams rallying for each other, but we have to do our jobs. Right now, I am glazing DRG. They're doing incredible. It is halfway or almost halfway through day number 1 right now. And they are just ruining so many hopes and dreams of so many big teams.
I mean, you say ruining the hopes and dreams if we're talking about a team who came all the way to Riyadh. Can we give it up for some of the Red Hawk fans? Give it up for them. They flew all the way in to show some support wherever you're from. If you're from Bangladesh, give them your energy today because this is the most important round. They're going to be looking to get as many points as possible, and based on what we've seen, slow start, but they can do even better. And with these fans in the arena, they can only do the best. Let's throw it off to our casters. It's map number 3. We're going to catch you right after this.
Map numero 3. It's time to head into map number 3. Here we go. Dragons Esports Red Hawks fans flew into Riyadh just to watch them play. But this could be the breaking point, especially for the Red Hawks. But just now we saw a scary side, AJ. We saw that Hotshot is already down in 11th spot. Dragon Esports, they have a hell of a good chance of making it if their run continues in this manner.
I honestly thought you were going to say Tash Bunny, but okay. I know exactly where you're coming from. This is danger zone for sure. And obviously, we have to say goodbye to one squad, Alpha 34. We already knew that they stood no chance, but Hotshot's getting pushed down lower and lower. Pakistan can't do anything about that as well. Out of Group B, not a single booyah on their side, 87 points. The bar to exceed is pretty low, but the question still remains, can the teams actually oust Fluxo from their number 6 spot with 106 points in hand? They look pretty solid up there.
Yeah, they do. I think right now, if you are looking at just the standings alone, right? I feel like Dragon Esports, they should be very, very proud of what they achieved. I think the fans from Bangladesh should be very proud of this debut appearance on an international tournament and at EWC of all things. I would not be able to handle the nerves, but here they are, two positions away to make it into top 12, and all they gotta do from that point onwards is to maintain it.
Yeah, I mean, Red Hawks obviously need to hustle quite a little bit before they can stand a good chance to sneak into the top 12. And we do have 4 more games on standby here. There's a lot that could happen. We just saw a miracle in front of us. Vision System out of nowhere pulling off a massive game. And that's exactly what Red Hawks need to aim for. The safe plays are not going to cut it anymore. They are on the chopping block. If they don't go crazy, if they don't get aggressive looking for these important points, they are not going to stand a chance. Playing safe and just sneaking into the final circle is not going to cut it as a strategy for Red Hawks anymore. That could have been a strategy from the very start of the competition, but too many of those opportunities have been let go already. And they're not the only ones in trouble. Virtus Pro, did you ever imagine a day that we would see them at the bottom 6?
Definitely not. I think Virtus Pro, they really need to buck up, right? They got 4 more rounds. There's still opportunities, but cannot make any more mistakes from this point onwards. But before we jump into Kalahari for map number 3, we actually talked to Pain Gaming, so let's listen to what they have to say.
Hi everyone, it's Yunsu and welcome to my interview with the Pain Gaming. So into our first questions, how do you guys feel after taking a rest from the game and today coming with the Group A and Group C with very top performance teams? Then how do you feel right now?
Como vocês se sentem depois de ter esse dia de folga e agora jogar novamente com o próximo grupo?
É bem tranquilo, porque a gente já jogou o primeiro dia já. A gente já tem uma noção do que fazer no terceiro dia, porque é muito bom jogar o último dia para sempre ter uma vantagem de pontos.
He said that they are confident and they are okay with that, and playing the third day, the last day, is always good because they know they saw all the other teams and everything, so they are fine with that.
Good, that is a great spirit that I love to hear. So what about loss? How do they feel about loss? Since yesterday loss was very high.
Ela perguntou como vocês se sentem agora com a luz, né, que foi muito bem ontem e tudo mais. Como tá para vocês esse sentimento?
Bom, é sempre muito bom times brasileiros desempenhando bem e, querendo ou não, nossa meta é ser o melhor time brasileiro e ser o melhor time da competição e ter essa disputa saudável com eles, né? Tentar passar eles hoje.
He said that for us, with the Brazilian teams going well, we are so happy for them, but we want to be the best team on Brazil and win the championship. So they are happy for them, but we'll beat them today.
I understand. So last questions to end our story here. What are you guys expecting the most for today's games?
O que vocês esperam de hoje, dos jogos de hoje e tudo mais?
A gente espera um jogo mais agressivo, um jogo também que a gente tá visando tirar algumas equipes para a final. E é isso. É um jogo mais agressivo que a gente precisa buscar fazer pelo menos aqueles 30 pontos. Tá um jogo mais calmo para nossa equipe e algumas equipes precisam pontuar, principalmente a equipe da Ásia.
And our coach says that we need to be more aggressive today, and we need to make at least 30 points. So we are looking for this aggressive game today, and we know that some teams need to make some points too, and we are here to beat them.
All right, I think it's enough for today, and of course, today's game is going to be the last day of a knockout stage, so everything is going to be very intense because we only have 12 slots to go into the finals. Let's keep support for our team. Of course, support the best Brazilian fans, support for your favorite team. Here I have with Pain Gaming. Good luck to you guys all today. Fighting!
Pain Gaming ready to deliver the worst to their opponents to keep their spot here in the top 12. At this point of time, they've got 101 points in the bag. That should be good enough, but I'm very sure they want a few more, Husky.
Yeah, I like how the coach was managing expectations. I want them to get 30 points. Yeah, come on, you can get 30 points in one game. And fun fact, Pain Gaming actually in the community tournaments, right after the FFWS Brazil in the earlier season, they actually took out teams like Los and Fluxo.
Oh yeah.
So there is a storyline right now that we are getting closer to its conclusion, where there's a universe. We make it to Point Rush. If Fluxo doesn't make it, it means that the other two teams that have bested them and put them second will be there. Pain and Loss. Can you believe it?
I most definitely can believe it. Anything is possible here on the world stage. Anything is possible at the Esports World Cup. And here you go. The teams in danger, 6 of them. Red Hawks, one of them. They need a miracle for sure. Vision System just showed us what sort of a miracle they are capable of. And obviously, we want to see a little bit more from the Chilean squad. AGAL, though, at Foundation. And very early gunshots here. Not so sure exactly who's aiming for their heads, but they should be pretty safe. I believe we saw a player from the side of RRQ quickly sneak away from Foundation. Very sneaky from RRQ, trying to take over 2 compounds at the same time.
Yeah, it was Abai. He fired a couple of shots, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go back to where my team likes the most, which is Refinery, and that has always been the headquarters of RRQ. Goes actually out in the open, finds an airdrop. Bit of a lady luck to say, fortune smiles upon the bold. Pain Gaming so far have really been tearing it up.
Well, this next circle should give us a rough idea as to how the movements of the squads will go. Circle 1 still pretty balanced in the middle. Just moving down south side a tad bit more. And
Red Hawks.
The read is pretty accurate from a lot of these squads, but Red Hawks getting into a little bit of a tussle here at command post. Not the best of things to happen to the squad that needs a miracle in terms of points. And Nejad could not get away. Climb dropping down like the god of death with the M590 delivers exactly that.
I felt like Red Hawks made the wrong read. Because command post is an Onyx place to be at. They made the rotation straight in. And now Onyx are going to chase down as much Red Hawk members as they can. Kutush will be the first point of contact. Ducks the way to the sub. There is a chance for them to lead Onyx into Pain Gaming, but if you are Red Hawks, you cannot be in a position where you are just running for your lives. In this case, they don't really have a choice. Kutush puts up the glue wall, but it's only a matter of time before Noki blasts through that, and Kutush will just have to fight for his life. Doesn't have the health bar to do so. 3 points for Onyx.
I had the right gun, just did not have the right timing there. That plasma gun had enough bullets in the mag to continue spraying on for days. It just didn't help the fact that the assault rifles are now doing more damage to those glue walls. Glue wall melters are very useful, but the assault rifles will bring them down in no time as well.
Zyro actually making a rotation down to the southeastern side and run straight into BRU. So that's going to be some information given over to the team. Instant revive for Onyx. Nothing much was lost in the process. Zyro opts to drop back to command post, even using the binoculars. As we turn our attention to Mammoth, that's where Red Hawks escape to. They will be near Pain Gaming as Movie Star R7 takes on Falcons.
Great recovery here for Red Hawks. The double revival will still keep them in play. R7, no Riptide Rhythm's gonna block him. The Chrono popped instantaneously. Doesn't take any damage whatsoever. On fire. Backs away to the rest of his team members as Della is found. Peter with the aggression on fire though. Misses by a single second. Circles around, finds another window, calls for backup in Kororo as well. Electrotherapy on play, but it's not enough. On fire though, keep the squad in play. On the drop of the M590. And the pickup is not too troublesome at all. Falcons making quick work of Movistar.
Yeah, Games King try, he really did. Joker was able to run away to confinement. There is a vending machine there. They should have the coins to get a revive going. AGAL not doing that well. Cypher and Barros removed from the equation as lost now. Towards that lane, actually a bit of a ricochet. Dew able to jump away. Can they pluck him out of the skies? Dew is going to land, but General and Haone is on the case. Trying to go for a swim. That first one is going to miss. Shooting fish in the barrel. Dew makes it to dry land, but Los continues the pursuit.
Good double glue wall, and Dew sends the response. He's got the M82B. Riptide Rhythm breaks down the defense. It's Hanaral. One more shot required, and Dew missing the final opportunity. Haone stepping on out. Dew taking on 2 players at the same time. but not enough glue walls to keep him safe for long. Dew finally is sacrificed, but bought the squad enough time so the rest of them could get away.
Saved by a tree, General, ducking behind nature to keep himself in the running. Dew going down puts AGAL at once more another precarious position. Sure, the revives come true, but they've lost big weaponry. Vision System, the second place finisher in the previous round, now finds themselves head-to-head with Dragons Esports, the two teams that both Gideon and Tash mentioned earlier on in the head-to-head.
Dragons not too far away from the top 12, but once again, the teams that they're going up against here in the bottom 6 are mostly from Groups A and C who are in play today. Alpha 34, the one squad that can't do much about their position. Hot shots as well. So 2 spots guaranteed. In order to make more, they need to push Fluxo out of the leaderboard here as well. And that is most definitely going to take a massive amount of points. Vision System, I wonder if this miracle play can continue for them though.
It's looking more and more possible for sure.
Yeah.
But the consequences of that would be pushing up Fluxo means that Hotshot is guaranteed to not qualify.
Oh yeah.
Because they are the next on the list, they're the next on the chopping block.
I think it's pretty much guaranteed already. Hotshots are not going to be making a 2-point rush. They're just way too close to the bottom of the leaderboard. And the rest of the teams don't really need all that too much. For example, Dragons, they only need about 20 points to catch up.
Yeah, 20 points.
That's not a lot. I mean, Dragons in the previous game, massive stuff. Getting to that final circle, 6 eliminations, it's going to be more than good enough for them. They just need to do that, and they've got 4 chances to do so, right? So I'm hoping EMEA gets a shot here at Point Rush. Doesn't matter what they pull away from the Grand Finals. Seeing them there at Point Rush and Grand Finals itself is going to be absolutely fantastic.
And it gives them a chance to win the whole thing with the Champion Rush format too. We've seen that happen firsthand with Onyx.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from Onyx, they definitely are doing slightly better than they did in their first day of match. But I think it's also fair to say that if Dragons make it through, this is going to be the first time in a grand final setting we have someone from a less mentioned region.
Yeah.
That would be historical.
Absolutely. I mean, they are pretty much the favorites at this point of time for many of them in Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine after this competition, Dragons Esports finds themselves a little bit of a bigger sponsor, maybe one that has got a hub here at the Boulevard itself.
We've seen Twisted Minds pick up the roster of the current Virtus Pro last year, right? Not the greatest run, but it is a possibility.
Falcons may be taken already by this squad that we see in front of us, but Twisted Mind still waiting for a team to be worthy so they can pick one up. But Genghis King walking away. Movistar R7 in a lot of trouble. Limit. BSS in hand, got the rate of fire, and switches out to the M590 just to dodge it. What a riptide rhythm, courtesy of Limit, going 2 for 2 there.
2 for 0. So much commitment from the side of Movistar R7. You can't blame them. They needed to stay in the round, and they know that they have to play distraction. So that 2 revives early on is going to carry on the legacy of R7 in this round. But for Team Falcons, they've definitely found their mojo. 7 eliminations and counting, and confinement. Plenty of time to loot things up. The blue is closing in, but it doesn't really affect Falcons too much just yet.
Limit is super rich at this point in time. 2,900 coins in his pocket. Falcons coin rich in case anything does go south for the squad. Finding a recovery isn't going to be that big of a problem, but finding a recovery on a map like Kalahari late game is going to be a massive issue for sure. So Falcons need to stop flirting around outside the safe zone and make it into the circle. But when they get to Bayfront, they should bump into R7 once again. RRQ, on the other hand, is sneaking around, just making good use of the lower ground. And this is a smart play from RRQ. They're anticipating for the circle to land somewhere around here, and the final circle to get to the spot where RRQ is at. The probability is extremely high.
And I do wonder what is going to be RRQ's next move, right? We saw a couple of binoculars. RRQ got scanned out, Red Horse got scanned out, and now a third one on the map that we're seeing. Dragons Esports also got spotted out. Onyx just flew in. AGAL, though, will be the ones that we're focusing on. It's campaign gaming against them, and sadly, Barros didn't really get a chance to fight back. Dew He tried to be the hero early on, and this time he will just be a past memory. Pain Gaming finding 2 easy pickoffs, and AGL, I feel like we've seen this storyline before. He picks himself back up, but Dew pushed out the portal, tries to go for the buffer, couldn't make it to in time. He really tried, but he just could not escape Motovia.
Yeah, no glue wall there to make a miraculous play happen for himself. A tad bit unfortunate. Had the horizon line in hand. We were about to see a miracle play courtesy of Dew. One of the best snipers in the past, just hasn't been hitting those sharp shots recently.
That will free up the path for rotation for Pain. They are pretty deep out into the circle. Another scan from the Dinoculus early on reveals where Red Hawk is. I feel like I could say it could be from Pain because that's the most direct path into the circle. If you try to circle around the northern side, then crossing the refinery, it's going to take too long with the siren blaring.
Raone surely on the move, looking for Russia's #1 spot in terms of being the deadliest guy out there on the battlefield. Not too far away from getting that done. Vision system from up top. Beautiful knock onto Joker. That's not going to be enough to stop the pace of the squad. For the time being though, nobody else has got the elevation to deal with Vision system. But a couple of hook guns and a couple of jumps later, Vision System's going to be in a lot of trouble. But for the time being, the circle looks for them. Great positioning from the squad.
The biggest winner right now on the map is actually Los. They are uncontested, coming in from the northern side. And they can get a free entry if they want.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the team, it's about to get incredibly bloody. We are almost 12 minutes in, and we still have 11 full squad. And to fight at the eastern side of the refinery, a couple of structures, high-rise structures, but plenty of open ground.
We also spotted Los using the Dinoculus, managing to scan out 4 players on the side of Movistar R7, so they do know that if they make a straight beeline for the safe zone here, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble, but all thanks to the elevation that Kalahari presents. They play the cliffs to their advantage. They maintain cover as they approach the other squads. Buriram, on the other hand, one might expect them to break a leg with that fall, but once again, thanks to the hook gun, which is pretty much cheap and available for everyone. Moshi not allowing Nejat to get away. Boonjame chipping in as well. Wasana fighting Exposi. Virtus Pro back away, Buriram says.
And this is just, again, showing us how experienced BRU players are. That decision to take fire was so quick and decisive. And Moshi landing those initial shots, that is what's going to make a difference in these crucial moments. BRU now rotates forward. They're going to make a bit of detour towards the western side of the map and try to cut through from that compound, from that area. But it will put them in the crosshairs of Pain Gaming and RRQ.
Buriram has not looked dangerous in a while. Waiting for that prime time to strike, and I wonder when that would be. Onyx, the only team eliminated thus far, and Red Hawks are very close to the exact same fate. But Moshi, Wasana, both going down. Pain Gaming delivering the hurt. Motovia with the sharp shots from across. Get High desperately hanging on. Has got the M79. Needs another grenade to wreck the chances of Peter here.
Yeah, Jonah is going to try and help, but Get High has already been knocked down by Noda. And BRU once more collapsing in the hands of Pain Gaming, as they pay the price of 2 members, but at least they're still in it to win it.
Unbelievable stuff. Buriram in the 9th spot. There's a high probability they get eliminated if they keep up this slow pacing for themselves. If we don't see an aggressive version of Buriram, they are probably not going to be at point rush. But look at Lost, circling on in. Falcons in trouble, they see the team wide open. Grenade after grenade. Hararao, Paone, dropping those nades like they hot, and Falcons dropped right when they found them.
Caught completely unaware and given a shallow burial by Lost. The Brazilian champions once more showing us the aggressiveness. Before the show even started, we saw Lost talking about their playstyle.
Yeah.
We see, we shoot, we take down, we eliminate, and we win. And that is how they won the domestic championship. Finished 4th last year on the stage, 3 out of 4 of them. And right now, they're about to make that point once more. Motovia fighting Ma'al from up top, VSE with the steal.
Unbelievable stuff out of the Brazilian squads this time round. They all want blood, and they find those points behind those shots. Movistar R7 in a decent spot. Dudes wants revenge. Forced back by the circle. Can't go in there for the extra point. Will focus on their own placement first. Lost on the other hand with a quick reposition. And this is absolutely smooth from the squad. Pain Gaming on the other hand loses Monobia and gets taken out in 7.
And Lost puts themselves in the circle too. They have VP and Dragon Esports to deal with, but as long as they take care of teams like Movistar R7, they can stand there forever because Dragon Esports are also preoccupied. Like shooting free target. Welcome to the firing range of Dragon Esports. VSE and RQ having a tough time dealing with this team from the Middle East as Lost locks in their 15-point and counting.
Again, you see Dragon Esports in the top 3, making the top 2, going up against the top dogs of Brazil. Dragon Esports, I don't care, even if they don't walk away with the victory over Lost here, they're winning my heart for sure.
Rahone with the
down
grenade.
on the ground. Rahone is going to finish this off all with the grenade launcher.
Seafolk does get a trade onto Rigby, but again, you need confirmation. Rigby ends up going down. Lost at 16, 17. Rampage for Rahone, 7 under his belt. The aggression for Yasuda, he takes the fight straight to Lost to take a gamble, but it did not pay off. The dice was rolled, but it was Lost that comes out on top. Booyah! Once more, 3 for Lost.
3 for Lost, and the boys have found dominance up on top, and Rahone has found that #1 Predator spot, kicking Russia into that second position with his aggression. Grenade launcher for the win. These boys are launching themselves into the hearts of fans all across the world.
This is impressive. We know that Lost is impressive, but the spotlight is slowly shifting over to Dragons Esports. I think if this run continues, if they do make it, I dare to say it right now, that they deserve a spot among the greats.
Okay, hell yeah, they most definitely do. But we all know how Champion Rush works, baby. The field is open for the play. Even the underdogs of the competition, all they need to do is just sneak into Point Rush, get into the grand finals, hit those 80 points, and walk away with a booyah to call themselves the champions of the Esports World Cup 2025. Free Fire dominance right here out of Brazil. The consistency is mind-blowing.
It is. I think for Lost, they have more than proven enough to all of these rounds that they are the ones that has a very good chance of winning the whole thing and finishing the job from last year. But for Dragons Esports, keep your eyes on them because 3 more rounds and we will find out if they do make history in top 12. We'll send it to a break and we'll be right back with more Free Fire action.
Quadra kill. Double kill. This land is calling.
ใครจะเป็นคนสั่งวันเนี้ยนี่ไม่ต้องเดี๋ยวปล่อยชุบเลือกไอเจลดีกว่า
มาไม่ต้องเถียงกันละเดี๋ยววันนี้เล่นเอง
Você tem também o cara. Fiz bomba lá, desci direito, vem comigo aqui. 61, 200.
Chupetão no gás.
W2. Boa, no meu pé um.
Fiz esse cara aí. Jogando aqui.
Comigo. Faz lógica, tem?
Correndo pra tu, Raoni. Miado aí.
Faz lógica, tem, General?
Não tem. Vem os dois, vem, Raoni. Finalizando eu. Não clicou ainda. Clicando agora.
Boa, caralho! Vai tomar no cu, cara. Boa, porra.
It is all downhill here, folks, because we have just passed the halfway mark for day 3 of Free Fire at EWC 25. And LOS secure the third booyah of the day, this time on Kalahari. Welcome to the very fluffy panel, folks. I hope you are enjoying the show, the matches, and obviously your very fluffy panelists. My analysts, we have a lot to talk about because that was a really calculative game of Free Fire. 10 minutes. We still had 12 teams. 48 players. Everyone played so slowly. Neptune, you got to break this down for me here because, I mean, why did everyone just suddenly slow down?
Yeah, it seems like they are going in for placement points first. So they don't want to be that aggressive. But we've seen a lot of aggressive gameplay. But at this point, especially in Kalahari, there's a lot of survivability factor. With that hook gun, you can get away as quickly as that and revive your teammates.
I think you're looking at this with rose-colored glasses, Neptune. This is ridiculous because Lost are honestly changing the game here. They're forcing teams into each other. They are taking so many elimination points, and God, cool guys don't look at explosions for a reason.
And not to mention, Lost, where are they on the leaderboard?
There you go. Well, currently they are rocking that #1 spot, not only in the match ranking, but also on the overall standing. And I love the performance of Lost in there. They were able to go for the backstab, and you did mention explosion. They just exploded. 15 Falcons has been wiped out quickly by Lost.
With that being said, though, 31 points by the end of this match. RQ just behind them, but I don't even think teams were expecting Lost to do this well, because that means in the overall rankings that puts them at #1. But at the same time, it's forcing teams to think about this game differently now. It's not about, hey, do we need to take our time? It's, can we make sure that Lost doesn't steamroll us, especially coming into that 4th and 5th ring?
Okay, I know we're highlighting LOS a little bit because they're at the top of the leaderboard. We gotta talk about the Dragons because they have been so consistent today. They placed top 3 in the first 2 matches, and then they come second in this one. What is going on with the Dragons?
Yeah, I guess they're just going into the basics right now. Survivability at its finest. They're not thinking about elimination, that much of elimination, and they just want to be in the top 3, if not grab that booyah. Currently in the knockout stage, this is their 4th instance of being in the top 3. So I guess this is their road to be on the top 12 overall. And guess what? AG Global and Dragons are currently tied.
I think the process of which they have figured out not only rotations, but most importantly, their landing spot and their recovery has significantly improved from the previous day, allowing them to consistently get into the top 3.
I'm just trying to think here, right? Is this maybe a case of Dragons just doing their homework? Because I feel like if you're going to play this consistency, you clearly have to have some level of knowledge over your opponents.
Yeah, it seems like it, because I was talking with analysts from the Arab side, and there is discussion that they have been studying not only the entirety of those in EWC, but also those in Southeast Asia. So there's a possibility that the movement, the rotation has been followed overall, and halfway through, they're just going in for the placement. We might see a lot more elimination later on.
I think at this point, maybe people have been underestimating their homework, but at the end of the day, I think the Dragons Esports are, in the famous words of Goofy himself, just yucking great.
And it's only a way up from here because we still have 3 more games. It's not done yet. So if the Dragons keep going like this, they're going to basically guarantee their way in top 12. I mean, Neptune, are Dragons guaranteed top 12 yet, or are they still kind of looking rocky here for points?
Yeah, they're still on the edge right now, and they need to maintain those placement points, even add a lot more of elimination. But they're very close on taking out hot shots and bringing them to the top, away from the top 12. So I guess they're close, but still no cigar.
I think the teams at least need to start thinking about these last couple of maps, because we've seen in these past 2 days that once we get into the last leg of the race, desperation starts to become very important, and more importantly, so the points that you can get from being desperate, fighting early, fighting into the mid game, they got to start cutting off the fat. Like, how, Neptune, you got to cut that fanny pack off. What is this, 2010?
Wow, thanks, Gideon. So just a quick update for our overall ranking. So as you can see at the very top, we have Lost with 163 points, and they have a humongous lead over the remaining teams playing in groups A and C, because EVOS and Core Memory, they finished their games. They're not playing today. So essentially, the rival team is Team Falcons, but this is 30 points, gentlemen. 30-point gap between these two teams.
I think with the 30-point gap, what everybody needs to look at is on that second page, 12 all the way down to 15. Because if any one of those teams, except for Alpha 34, also achieve that 30-point lead, that means everybody else is not going to progress as far, allowing that top 12 to be more achievable.
One thing that's unfortunate, though, Virtus.pro previously, before the day started, they were in 13. And only a few more points and they could have crossed over, but they failed miserably in 2 matches, and it's still happening. So, not quite sure what's happening with Virtus.pro, but hopefully they can recover. But that would mean that Dragon Esports will be pushed out.
Okay, so I also saw on the right side of that ranking, I saw Buriram's name. Now, the question, though, even though they're over there, how many points are they sitting on? Are they... Okay, this is going to be such a crazy question. What are the odds of Buriram falling out of top 12?
Well, it seems, or it looks like they are doing so, but we all know Buriram. They won't let it go, and when it matters, they will be getting all those points. It just so happened in this instance, they went in for engagement a little bit early, so it's tough to call if this is really a play for them.
Well, I think we got to cool the stage off a little bit, because we did have a bit of a sweaty match just now on Kalahari. So it looks like we're ready to fly into Alpine Survivors. Gonna throw over to our casters right now as we get ready for game number 4.
Thank you very much, panel and Deadly. This is exciting because the top 12 places right now look so tight. Currently in 12th and 13th place, AGAL alongside DRG, both at 79 points. It could be anyone's game, but to be even more secure, you want to try and overcome teams such as Hot Shots right now.
Yeah, Hot Shot, they are slowly relegating themselves to be under the top 12 threshold. And for the teams that is within that threshold, they have to be careful, because we are left with only 3 matches here for Group A and also C. This 12th team definitely need to pump up more in their game. So we're going to move into Alpine here for game number 4. After that booyah from Lost and aggressive gameplay here by the Brazilian team, I could believe that maybe Lost could again surprise us with an amazing game.
Yeah, Lost look really good. 3 booyahs throughout the entirety of the days they've been playing here. They're aggressive, they are hot. Rahoni is playing incredibly well. And there are so many situations where you thought they were at the back foot. They had lost 2 players already. Then what? They bring the players back in. The recovery is incredible on Bermuda this morning.
Yeah, now we're looking at Alpine. We are looking at drop spots of the players, but it looks like we might have a scuffle here in Snowfall as R7 and Buriram are dropping at the same place. Bounty has been placed on a Virtus.pro Diamond by, I believe it's by RRQ. So with that said, RRQ now sort of have information regarding the position of Virtus.pro. Meanwhile, we are now panning on towards Snowfall. As I said, it's Rainbow 7 and Buriram. However, on the river mouth, Dragons and Red Hawks are at it right now.
As heck right now as DRG. They're going aggressive. Kutush falls Blade as well. And Blade can't even be recovered anymore. For now, they have to find a way to get themselves back into this game. But DRG 3 already, and this is a great start for them. I glazed them on the stage earlier for a good reason. This is a team out of nowhere, just gone completely nuclear and taking down so many big names.
A short run here for Red Hawks. The last member was finally found. It was found by Motovia from Pain Gaming, as Motovia is on that lighthouse tower, encompassing the whole area of Rivermouth, looking at Team Dragons right now. He's being so careful not to actually release any kind of shot, despite being in a position where it's hard for Dragon to execute here, even for Motovia to go down. So with that said, Motovia tried his best. Carlos goes down towards Rima. Rima now on the floor, manages to collect another point here for Pain Gaming. Motovia doing a lot of work for Pain Gaming in the early stages of the match.
They're looking to break some hearts and break some dreams, because DRG, while they're hot, they are currently on the back foot in terms of bodies. So the best way is just go for, for cover. And the same thing could be said about Falcons, because they are here to not to play. They're getting here for names and also kills. But Pain Gaming are rallying. They get the kills. DRG, one more member falls here, but for Pain, they try their best to get those pickups. But Falcons, Peter, he's aggressive. There's a reason why he is one of the #1 decorated players on this team, and he has taken the first pickup for the team, and they're looking to find a different way to eliminate Pain from this game.
So Gus tried to fly himself away from Falcons, but apparently the Falcon managed to swoop him away in midair. So there is only Motovia left, and Motovia doing work towards Team Dragons. He managed to secure 4 elimination for this Brazilian team, all alone with that car and also Woodpecker. Oh, such a unique setup here by Motovia, using the glue wall and also the mini jump pad right on top to gain elevation and a good angle to actually go towards Forest Raid. So main job here for Motovia, he has to revive the others.
You want to be able to do that as well. I mean, you saw they had a bit more advantage in terms of their cover and positioning as well, but Falcons did a great job of rallying and being able to break through those defensives, running in as a 2-2 to be able to just really push them outside into the open arms for his teammates. And I think that Falcons, while they have been a bit more quiet, they are here today to just really solidify their lead.
Pain Gaming is back. Motovia managed to actually revive everyone back. Meanwhile, a little bit of a scuffle here in Rai as AGAL spotted on Olympus scouring around the same area. Rai is a very open space area. They have to actually close in their gap. Meanwhile, Noki was knocked by Dew on the backside. That they have to take refuge in that arsenal. Noki again on the floor, this time alongside Adam. And Onyx Olympus not looking so good. They have to fly away, and indeed they did. So the remaining members tried to exit. Only one member actually exited, as Zyro was left here to handle AGAL all alone. Barras tried to break as much wall as possible with the Groza in hand. And Zyro managed to find cover for the current time being. He had space, but sadly Dew found his back, and Zyro goes down.
It's just a terrible position to be in when you have no clue where the AGL members are. And the AGL realizing that they have to really struggle to earn their spot into that top 12 just really fuels them further. Now they have, all the, armory, they have the upgraded weapons, and I think this would really increase their firepower, give them an upper advantage to be able to get all those frags, to be able to solidify themselves into some points in terms of kills, in terms of positioning as well.
Alright, we might see another Falcon and Pain Gaming interaction here, this time on Rivermouth. Here is a short replay from Rainbow 7 where we could not actually report it for you guys, and Rainbow 7 manages to actually control Buriram. It looks like Buriram has to exit the vicinity instead. And now we're looking at Falcon again. We're about to see whether or not Falcon repeats their match against Pain. They had a very good run earlier where Pain was left with Motovia to do all the revive, but apparently Pain manages to actually find a route to fall back, but Gus has been spotted by Falcons.
Yeah. Falcons, they're ever watching, eyes like a hawk, if you want to say it. Gus gets backstepped here. His teammate wants to pick him up, but I don't think that Keroro is going to allow him that space to be able to do so. A lot of pressure going toward him as well. And Peter cannot do a lot to help his teammates in this situation. And as for Falcons, they're understanding that in this dire situation, the best course of action is to take a little bit more space.
Pina tries to actually do some suppressed fire towards Team Pain Gaming, but knowing that they are quite far apart against each other. So Falcon decides to actually just maybe find another thing to do here in Rivermouth. Maybe find some resources that are lacking in the team. But it looks like Pina was aimed at, I think, Pain Gaming. Yeah, Pain Gaming from the minimap. It looks like they are trying to engage on towards Team Falcons. Meanwhile, the first zone is about to close. There's a few teams still outside of the zone. Example, Buriram, AGAL, and also Lost. Dragons resetted back their team. However, they are currently being bountied by another team in our Alpine. And it looks like the circle has updated, putting Sunside as the middle point.
Interestingly enough, that southern side is such a heavy point of contention. So many teams rotating over, which means we're going to see some bloody fights coming from there. Virtus Pro, I think they can chill for now as the rest of Onyx are looking for a slower and later rotation as they try to bring themselves back into this game. And I say bring themselves back into the game is such an important thing for them, because you want to be able to make sure that you have a bit more space to work with. Your teammates are able to get back into the game safely, and you're able to rendezvous together, to move together as a unit.
All right, we're looking at Vision System SP. They had 2 good games actually, despite currently being in the lower part of the overall table. They still have that hope to try to get to the top 12, trying to cut off teams from AGAL as well as Dragons. If they could actually get 3 more good games with good placement and elimination points, even with a Booyah, we could see another Latam team proceeding towards the point rush stage. Meanwhile, we're looking at RRQ happily camping at boot camp. Again, this is also a base camp, sorry. This is also another vicinity within the midpoint of our new zone. And Mal equipping with the AWMY. High damage, high caliber. Sadly could not go through glue walls. Only the M8-2B could do that, but still a very scary weapon to be facing against.
I'm looking at DRG's rotation right now from southern side. This is a very scary rotation because they are currently right against the zone, and most importantly, if they do break into that circle, there's Falcons waiting for them. There's AGAL waiting for them, and that's the worst part, because AGAL and DRG are currently on that same amount of points. They need to both be able to kind of like break each other to be able to earn their spot into that top 12, and it's really scary, especially when you're up against a team like Falcons.
Another potential team going to point rush, Movie Star Rainbow 7. Playing it slow, does not enter the zone early. From Railroad, it looks like they are opt to go to Carousel. But the thing about playing in Carousel is that there is a body of water, so if they were to play around near that water, it could prove detrimental. Meanwhile, again, another team has entered base camp. This time around, it is Virtus Pro. Yet to get an elimination point in our game right here. They are side by side with Team Falcons as well as Team Vision System. Meanwhile, Lost just exited Rivermouth.
You know, I think the panel had that question just now, will Buriram United actually make it to that top 12? Can they actually, maintain that point to be able to secure themselves here? And, I think the panel had a good, indication of saying, yeah, it's Buriram United. You don't really have to worry about them too much. They're explosive. Right. They can start the day strong. They can still get enough, enough points to just maintain that top 12. And then suddenly in the point rush, the champions rush, they hit the ground running. But in this situation where so many teams are this competitive, how long are you going to be just sitting on that back foot? Are you not going to try show a bit more of the competitiveness, or are you just going to just do the bare minimum here?
I believe the bare minimum would be the least effort they could put for Buriram United, because judging from the points that they have, they are at high percentage to proceed to the next stage. Same goes to Lost right now. We're looking
points,
at them.
Yes.
Yeah, same for Lost right now. They are quite how can I say, comfortable to be current, being as they have sufficient points to be proceeding towards the point rush stage. And again, this is the airdrop brought to you by STC. Okay, very nice. I'm not so sure what's inside, but I believe this is a golden airdrop, so maybe either a Groza or AWM inside. Now we're looking at the Vantage Bridge where Dragons reside. Awaiting them in front is AGAL, but they are going to use that mini jump pad to try to go to front. And Dragons awaiting the new zone. And talking about the zone, those who are inside are actually right smack in the middle. Falcons, Virtus Pro, and also I believe only one member of Team Onyx Olympus. Therefore, the team that is in the middle of the zone will try to gate peep. Meanwhile, RRQ and R7.
Yeah, very aggressive coming for RQ here. They're hot off that win this morning. They've done the rituals and it's working out very well as R7 just crumble. Games King falls as well. The rest of RQ just taking their time, moving together as a unit. They've gotten 2 members of R7 already and they can now chill. They're playing at the side of the zone here. The rest of R7 forced out there, back in the open, into the zone again. And you know, this is the question. What are you going to do here? You have a vehicle. Yes, you have to go for a longer rotation for sure, but time is ticking.
He's trying to adjust the vehicle. Yeah, you could reverse Hux. You could reverse the vehicle. All right, Hux has a vehicle. However, he's now all alone. Not much coin for him to revive at least one person. So his only option is either to survive or trying to find maybe a respawn platform. But sadly, the current circle does not provide him that option. So Hux has to play alone. And meanwhile, we're looking RRQ flying towards the base camp, trying to get to the center point of the new zone. Meanwhile, Pain Gaming blasted bullets onto his team Lost, but at the same time being disturbed by one lone member of Onyx Olympus. And Lost is looking at AGL.
Lost is looking hot. If you ask me, the southern side where they're holding completely open, they have the scoped weapon as well to allow them to go for these long-range fights, but the fights that are long-range are taken away by Dew as Hux eventually does fall to Onyx, in fact, who has placed himself out there in the open. But for the rest of AGL, they're stuck here. The zone's pushing, they're stuck literally between a rock and a hard place. As Rigby finds that first pick-off, Sypha falls, has to recover, can't do that. The glue walls are just falling so easily, melted right now, taking so much damage. Barros as well, the numbers are dwindling, and AGL don't seem to have an idea how exactly to recover from this situation. You alone here, and now the members have followed a double kill for this guy who's putting in so much pressure. AGL falls, and I think for DRG, this could be the holy or the hallelujah moment they needed.
Under the mercy of Team Lost goes down AGL. The next thing you know, Dragons as well on 9th place. Lost yet again. Shoving bullets this time on towards RRQ. With the M249, definitely the weapon of choice of taking down barriers as well as glue walls. So Lost controlling RRQ, forcing them to be inside of the building. Meanwhile, Onyx Adam is following Virtus Pro all on his own, and Adam finally got caught, but RRQ dudes with the grenade managed to get a triple, I believe, as Adam and 2 members of Virtus Pro have been eliminated. Exposy and Diamond has to run away. Exposy has to tank the snow grenade a little bit, and there you go. Onyx has been eliminated at 8th place, and now Chaos is upon them near base camp.
Because this hard shift is making everyone fight for that spot. But RQ is doing phenomenal in terms of positioning, in terms of style of play. They have already 10 eliminations at this 5th circle, and they are still going on here. They just found the members of BRU as well, taken them down, and now they're on a rampage. Who else they want to go for? They set their eyes onto Lost, puts a bit of chip damage, but not enough. But still, they don't have the zone. They have to rush forward. But because Pain and Lost are on this fight here, Pain is just going super aggressive. Rahoni falls, and RQ are happy to take this space away from the rest, who are later to rotate into the circle, but they're not done because Falcons is here to stop them.
Falcon taking down RRQ one by one, but no dudes with the grenade launcher taking down the last member of the Falcons. Now it's just RRQ and Pain Gaming, but Pain Gaming has the help, has the number. Only dudes left alone, running for his life in one particular spot, and Motavia awaiting for that blue wall to go down. Only dudes remaining between Pain Gaming and that second Booyah in EWC. Dudes trying to control the car together with Gus, but Gus bringing him out. Motavia secures the kill, and that is Booyah for Pain Gaming.
Valiant effort for RQ Dudes. He really delayed the inevitable. Tried his best to at least get a point or two before things went wrong. And you know what, Pain? yeah, talk that smack talk, because honestly, you guys deserved it. Another booyah for them today. Not today, but in this particular week. And it looks so good. They're very methodical in terms of their rotations. They're very quick on the ball when it comes to rotations as well. It looked as though RQ had the W, if you ask me, but Pain Gaming decided, no, I can change the chains of destiny.
What a good run here for Pain Gaming on the last few moments of the game. You can see them taking down Lost and a saving grace, as well as Falcons fighting off against RRQ, where in that particular scowl, it was RRQ that come on top. However, due to the fact that members of RRQ has been eliminated by Team Falcon, that gave room for Pain Gaming to do their booyah moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right after this, we are going to go to the stage with Carol for a very interesting interview. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, booyah at Alpine for Pain Gaming from Brazil, and that is their second booyah for EWC. So, let's go off to Carol on stage.
Thanks so much, guys. You have been doing a great work today. And so far, it was only match 4, and we have watched enough here today for the Brazilian teams. Another booyah from Pain Gaming, but right now we gotta talk with the Lowe's team, especially with this guy here that has overcome even Evil's team. Wow. I have actually some stats to share with you, because you have the most eliminations overall among us all the 3 groups, and your team has beaten Evils in terms of damage. So for sure, you have been doing a great job here today, Jony. But right now, it feels like you guys are looking for a redemption against Team Falcons on AWC 24. How does it feel right now, seeing like you have been on the farm to take the champions during the title, the champions title during the finals? Jony, já trouxe algumas informações aqui que vocês estão ultrapassando o time da Evils, principalmente nos danos, né? E você tem as maiores eliminações dos 3 grupos até agora, mas obviamente que não dá para esquecer que no ano passado vocês ficaram no top 3, né? No antigo time da Netshoes Miners, e agora vocês estão voltando aí atrás dessa redenção, com certeza para cima do time da Team Falcons. Quero saber como é que tá o sentimento agora, depois disso tudo que eu compartilhei com você, que eu imagino que é muita coisa.
Ano passado nosso estilo de jogo era diferente, jogava mais pra safe e tal. E nosso time esse ano, 2025, tá bem mais forte. Começamos o ano mal, mas depois nós foi campeão brasileiro e conseguiu classificar pro Mundial. E o nosso estilo de jogo tá muito bom, atrasado, só rushando. Um estilo de jogo que eu gosto muito, nosso time gosta muito, que é mais rushado do que ser rushado, que é bem mais fácil, né? Mas nós estamos muito confiantes e é isso.
Okay, so basically it's a mix of feelings, because last year we had a totally different game style going on. Actually, we also have a different roster. Only 3 players remain on the team. But right now we feel way more confident to be here. On the very beginning of the year, we still had a lot of mistakes to be fixed, but we overcome. We won Free Fire World Series Brazil, and we came here as a champion of Brazil, and we are here for sure very confident to take the trophy. And right now I want to know your expectations for the rest of the day, because you guys have done so much here. You got booyahs yesterday, you got another booyah today, and for sure I would like to know if your main goal is to finish as the best team of the day. Com certeza vocês estão fazendo uma campanha incrível aqui no EWC. Essa só é a fase classificatória, o último dia da fase classificatória, e eu quero saber suas maiores expectativas e se também seu objetivo é terminar em primeiro lugar aqui, como não só no topo de tabela, mas melhor time do dia.
Isso é um objetivo nosso, terminar como o primeiro time do dia e melhor da tabela também. E as expectativas estão melhor, manter sempre o pé no chão e sempre o mesmo estilo de jogo, com a confiança lá em cima, e é isso, e amassar.
Tem algum recado pro Brasil?
Recado pro Brasil que nós vamos amassar, se Deus quiser, nós vai ser campeão.
Perfect. So he basically said the confidence of the team is just rising up after matches and matches. They have set a new strategy to be here today, and it's only the knockout stage, but they are seeking, they are thirsty for the trophy, and they will not allow to come back to Brazil without the trophy. And that's all, my friends. We have watched great actions on Free Fire today. Today is the last day of knockout stage, and there's still a lot more to come, and I'm excited to be part of this. All right, so let's go for a quick break, and we will be right back here with more action for Free Fire at EAWC 2025.
Double kill. Rampage. Killing spree. Killing spree.
What is up, folks? Welcome to What's in the Bowl at Free Fire Esports World Cup 2025. I'm your host, Husky, and today I have two gentlemen with me on the couch from Virtus Pro. Welcome to the show. I want to quickly explain the rules, quick and simple. There are two bowls of this sort on the table, which the players will draw from. Plenty of notes inside. When they draw the notes, they will have to read it, hide it from their partners, and have them guess what it is. They could use audio cues, they could do actions, they could do anything they want. So, are we ready? Take your draw. Don't show him. What have you got?
ปืนไฮไลท์เก่าปืนสายไฮไลท์เก่าสองยาว M104 ใช่ปืนถ่ายไฮไลท์เมื่อก่อนเลยแมปใหญ่อะที่แมปใหญ่เล่นกันอะใช่แบน12ใช่
Yes, correct. The SPAS 12. Okay, good job. Number 1 point for you. Now it's your turn.
ปืนสไนเปอร์ AWM ไม่ใช่บาเลตไม่ใช่คา98ถูกต้อง ที่กูถือทุกเกมเวลาเปิดคลังแจคลังที่กูถือทุกเกมเวลาเข้าไปในคลังปืนฮิว
Killing pistol. Okay, so pew pew pew.
วาดแป๊บแมปทะเลทรายปืนสลิง
Congratulations, we have a tie, but we need a tiebreaker. Rock, paper, scissors.
ต้องคือเปล่าต้อง
And we have a winner! Yay! Right, since this is called What's in the Bowl, I have one more thing in the bowl for you guys. You ready? Ready to know what it is? It is... Good luck, VP. Good luck for EWC. And that's all for What's in the Bowl. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hi everyone, it's Yunsul and we are here at the Esports World Cup 2025 Boulevard. Very lively here, the gaming district, place for you to enjoy esports. But the most special thing about here is the food. Southern region dishes, all of the regional dishes, food. Who doesn't love food? Because I am. So I hope you guys will enjoy the moment on the camera. But if you can, please come here and share the fun with us right here at Esports World Cup 2025 Boulevard.
Tropa, deixa o moto matar.
Não, vai matar.
Deixa o moto matar o último. Eu vou salvar, deixa o moto, fica na boa, Pet.
Só mata o último, mano.
Ô, porra.
Sem bala.
Relaxa, fica na boa. Quer Oscar, alguma coisa?
Faz no sigilo aí, força no sigilo aí.
Verde, dá uma tira. Vamos na panela. Mas não mata. Não mata, Pet. Fica na boa. No carro. Vou pegar o carro pra ele não pegar.
Você escutando ele. Matei.
Tem que pegar aqui, vai pro gás.
Matei, porra. 10 kills do pai, porra.
Você, caralho. Você, bate, pô.
Pain Gaming show us pain by securing the 4th booyah today on Alpine. RRQ so close yet so far, and unfortunately no back-to-back booyahs for any of these teams as of yet, but we did have a off-camera discussion about this, Gideon. Pain Gaming
as of right now. The second half of the maps is something that they've shown us on day number 1 that hey, we can actually get a good amount one that, hey, we can actually get a good amount of elimination points on top of placement points no matter the map. So that consistency is always great. Second of all, the fact is they're breaking into top 12s pretty easily. I think they are relatively secure. I mean, Neptune, you can fact check me on this one because, again, this is based all off of gut feeling.
Yeah, I mean, they have breached the 130 mark that we keep talking about. So, yeah, currently 5th. And then also that final 5v5 or 4v4, it also brought RRQ to top 6. They have breached it with 131 points. So, I guess for these two teams, despite of RRQ not getting that booyah, I think they're in a safe spot.
So it seems like these teams, they are locking in their spots here for that championship weekend. But very quickly though, we do have our match ranking for the game that has just concluded. And RRQ, you know, even though they didn't get the booyah, they still topped the charts there with the most points thanks to those eliminations. But of course, eliminations, those are just as important as those booyah points. So RRQ, Pain Gaming, locking in their spots. Team Falcons, I mean, they're going to be happy with themselves as well, right? Just grabbing up some more points, climbing up higher and higher on that leaderboard. But to be fair, if you're up there, you kind of don't need the points. It's just kind of to say, well, I'm up here on that leaderboard. But we're not done. We are not done yet. We still have 2 more games to go, and we still have teams that are vying for those points to make it to top 12. So what are we looking at on that leaderboard? Where is the danger zone? Like, are we looking at maybe like 10th place until 14th, 9th until 11th? Like, where we kind of going here?
Well, judging from the numbers, those that is very close at 100 spot, which is 106. That is where Fluxo is. So them together with Movistar R7 and Buriram United is in that bubble. But unfortunate for Fluxo though, they have no say in it. They won't be playing for today, so Movistar R7 as well as Buriram United will be able to move up.
I mean, it's not within their control, but I'm looking at it, and honestly, it's getting pretty tight, right? If we're looking at specifically 12 on top of 13, AGAL, and as well as Dragon Esports, they are neck and neck. 2 points difference between those two teams, and they're trying to overtake Hotshot Esports at 87, which they should be able to do in the next 2 maps, but there's still the possibility of Virtus Pro, if they come up with huge numbers in these games, like let's say 30 points each on either map, I think they can just shoot right up in the standings and knock one of these teams out.
And hopefully this is the time, because Virtus Pro, they failed in the first 2 maps. 3rd map still failing, so it's very difficult to say if they'll be able to bring it. And like it might be I would say, hanging in there on the top 12. Very close, I would say, based on calculation and performance. So hopefully they bring it on the remaining maps.
All right, gentlemen, it looks like we're almost ready to jump into our 5th map of the day. But before that, though, it looks like our casters are on the main stage. What's happening, casters?
4 games done, 2 more to go. Husky, time is running out, buddy.
It is running out, and you can hear the echoes, the cheers, the screams, the support, primarily from our returning champions, Team Falcons. Yeah. Falcons, let me hear your noise, Team Falcons!
And it's not just about Falcons. We've got Indonesia in the house as well. Indonesia, make some noise!